Welcome back to another episode of Math with Dr. Math. So we're going to continue section 7.7, the discussion of complex numbers. All right. So what we're going to do here in our continuation is we're going to look at multiplying complex numbers. All right. So let's get 2i times the quantity 5 plus 3i. So what we're going to do here is we're going to distribute. We're going to multiply 2i times 5, and then we're going to multiply 2i times 3i. All right? So remember, I already gave you the warning. It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. So watch out. All right. So 2 times 5 gives us the 10, and we carry the I over, right? Plus 2 times the 3 will give us a 6. And then I times I gives us I squared. Well, we already know that I squared, right, this right here, this I squared, this is just -1. So this turns into, go ahead and ignore the beeping if you could hear that in the background. This is -1. All right. So we're going to go ahead and multiply 6 times -1. So you end up with 10i minus 6. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to write this in complex form. So we're going to write this in complex form. And all complex form tells us is that we write the real piece, and this is our real piece right here. We're going to write that part first. So -6, we write that part first, and then we go ahead and write the imaginary part second. So whatever has the I, you write second. So this right here is called complex form. So whatever has an I, you write second. So whenever they refer to complex form, this first number, whatever it is, this is called your real part. And plus bi, and this b is going to represent the imaginary part. All right, so this right here is our final answer in complex form. Any questions? Nope, perfect. All right, so far so good. All right, so next question. Let's see here. Let's step it up. Let's step up our game here. All right. So for this example, let's do 6 minus 3i times the quantity -2 plus 5i. All right. If you would like, we could FOIL this. So one method we could do is we could do the FOIL method, right? And remember, all we do is 6 times -2, then 6 times 5i, and then -3i times -2, and then -3i times 5i. That's the FOIL method. Or some of you prefer the box method. Again, totally up to you. I'll use the box method just because I think some of us could get help from the organization that this provides. All right, so let's go ahead and use the box method. So we end up with -2 times 6, all right, which is -12. Then we have -2 times -3i, which is going to provide us with 6i. And then we end up with 5i times 6, which is 30i. And then we have -3i and 5i, which gives us -15i squared. But again, don't forget, what's I squared? Let me write off to the side. I squared. Let me actually, that looks like a 2. So I squared equals -1. So what is I squared essentially going to do to this -15? Perfect. If you heard the girl in the back, she said it's going to change the sign. So remember, all I squared is going to do is change the sign. Don't get that confused with ice cream. Two very different things. All right. So let's go ahead and let's combine our like terms now. So we have -12 plus 15. And then we have our fake or imaginary part. 30i plus 6i. So these are the imaginary pieces I'm going to add together. These are the real pieces I'm going to add together. And together we call that, right, this piece plus this piece, we call that rhesus pieces, or in math, complex form. All right, so -12 plus 15, that gives us the real portion, 3, plus 30i plus 6i, 36i. And there you have it. You saw it here first with math, with Dr. Math. All right, so questions here. All right, so if you guys didn't hear that question from the person in the back, what they're saying is instead of writing I squared, can we automatically just change the sign? That's a great question. All right, and you absolutely can. So instead of writing I squared, if you just want to get to the finish line, right, go ahead and just change the sign right away. That's absolutely fine with me. Good question. All right, so let's take a look at another example. All right, here's our next example. All right, so if you're keeping score, this is example 3. So we have 5 minus 3i squared. So 5 minus 3i squared. Again, do not be fooled. All the squared means is we're actually going to write 2 of these copies. All right, so oops. We're going to write 2 of these copies. So let me go ahead and let's write 2 of these. All right. You can use the FOIL method or the box method. I showed you the box method, so now let's use the FOIL method. 5 times 5, boom, 25. 5 times -3i, -15i. -3i times 5, -15i. -3i and -3i, boom, plus 9i squared. Again, this is where the person in the back asked, can I just change the sign of this last one? Absolutely. All right, so let's go ahead, combine our like terms. So we get 25 minus 30i. And don't forget, what's this I squared here going to do? It's going to change the sign, so we're left with -9. All right, so let's combine our like terms. 25 minus 9 leaves us with 16 minus 30i. And there you have it, folks. That's what we call complex form. All right, so this message was brought to you by Rockstar. Party like a rock star. All right.